If you have a relationship and there's no friendship in it, there's something missing. You hear people say, oh, this person is my ride and die. This person is my G for life. Now, before you can make such comments, not just saying it because it's a phrase or something, but because you can make such comments about someone, you practically are very vulnerable with that person.
Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Love Life on Bodgepod.com. And my name is Leslie, and here Marvin is here with me again.
Hi guys.
Before we jump into today's discussion, interaction, please subscribe, like it, and then please share your comments as well. So today we have a very, important topic. All our topics are always important, so but today's one is really good. I'm excited about the topic, and I believe it's going to really benefit every one of us. So we're looking at the power of investing in friendship with your spouse.
Yeah.
The power of investing in friendship with your spouse.
Okay.
Right. So that's the subject we're looking at today. So I'd like to ask a question from the start. Why is friendship important in relationship?
Okay. Thank you once again for having me.
Yeah.
So I think that it's key that we are friends in relationship, because I think that friendship is actually the bedrock of any kind of communication or any kind of relationship.
Yeah.
So if you have a relationship and then there's no friendship in it, there's something missing. There's a whole lot missing in it. Now, you hear people say, oh, this person is my ride and die. This person is my G for life. Now, before you can make such comments, not just saying it because it's a phrase or something, but because you can make such comments about someone, you practically are very vulnerable with that person. So I think that in a relationship, you have to be friends to be able to. You need to be vulnerable with the person, to be open. In a relationship, the person you're in a relationship with, you need to be open with the person, so that your relationship would even live. Because what we see most of the time is we go into relationships for a lot of things, and there's a lot of pretense when we go into relationship.
Yeah.
People just go in and then they claim who they're not.
Yeah.
Now, but if you find out that if you have a friend, you can virtually share anything with your friend.
Yeah.
So that's one of the importance, because if you have a relationship and all you do is always on the surface because you're trying to either live above your exactly,
planned,
and everything is just
scripted.
very mechanical. Yes. We're in a relationship. Okay, today we are dating now, so we have to go out. He has to get me clothes. He has to do all of those things are important.
Yeah.
But when there's no friendship in it, when push comes to shove, what happens? There are times when you have some certain things that happen, and then you want to talk to someone, but it's not all your friends you can talk to. So the question is, your relationship, the person you're dating, in quotes, can you really talk to that person about that crazy thing that's happening? Because not all the people you call friends, you can actually share stuff like that with.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
In a relationship, I think that it is very ideal, because friendship is should be the bedrock of every relationship. Because if every relationship is built on, oh, I like this person is fine, this person, and that's all there is to it, you will never really get true commitment. You will never get loyalty. And there are times when, beyond everything you see on the outside, you need something deeper. Because, like they say, love sometimes will never be enough.
Yeah.
Yeah? But when you have that true friendship that serves as a bedrock, it always pushes you above and beyond.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are different angles to this, right? Some people become friends, then they get into a relationship.
Okay.
Some people, maybe some people like us, some people didn't have the time to become friends. They hit it, they met the person, I felt like this is the person I want to do life with.
Okay.
And then they start to do life with the person. Then they now discover the necessity. Yeah. Or maybe it's not like they discover it to say. that's why we're having this conversation, so that they can come to a place where they see that
It's
even
important.
that same, what's the word now, English? That same style of getting into a relationship will still require you to develop friendship in that relationship. So my question now is that, how do you, if you started like the way quite a number of people have started, which it was not friendship that drove them into maybe wanting to be in a relationship with someone. It was just, they saw the person, they liked the person, and they went straight up. How do you now start developing friendship? How do you do that?
So I think, first of all, if you're in a relationship, if you find yourself in a relationship with someone and then you just realize, okay, you know what, that friendship thing is lacking. So firstly, you have to first.
How do you even know that?
Yeah.
It's
So
lacking?
how do you? Now, sincerity of
know?
purpose.
Yeah. Okay.
What's your aim in the relationship? That's how you know something is lacking. Or I want to be with this person, maybe because at the end of the day I want to end up with the person, or maybe even you're married. If you have gotten to that level, but you need to be sincere about virtually everything that happens. So that's why I say sincerity of purpose. So, and then going on, there are things that are missing in the relationship.
Okay.
Because, of course, in a relationship, you virtually do, and there's this notion of how a relationship should go. Either we are being taught by the society, or the things we see, or the things we know. But deep down, you ask yourself, am I really vulnerable with this person?
Okay, that's one.
That's one of the.
Are you vulnerable?
Are you vulnerable with the person to the point where you can? Most men can't share their finances, the status of their finances. Yes, like you can't. And if you can't do that, you're not vulnerable to the person. But guess what? You find out that most people, the person who you are in a relationship with, might have another friend, probably even a guy that she can call and say, "See, I don't have 1 naira."
Even the guy.
Or even the guy can. Yes, the guy can also, can call somebody else and say, "Oh, babe," but that is not the person who is in a relationship with. So, are you vulnerable enough to that point where even your finances you can?
Imagine this scenario before you continue.
Okay.
A husband that cannot tell his wife that, "Babe, give me small money." But then the wife has a friend that is a man that can tax the wife.
Exactly.
And the wife will say,
exactly. So at that point, what do you say?
So and that's a reality,
and it happens a whole lot.
Because people
and I can shock you that, you see, most times, even in a relationship, or even relationship with married people, you find out that even the wife can go and maybe she finds out that the husband doesn't have money. Not because he told her, but she can have another guy that she can call and say, "Please borrow me," and she'll carry it and come and give the husband. So she's that free and that's vulnerable with the person, but between her and him, which both of them are spouses, that vulnerability is not there. So are you open to that point? So that's one of the ways you identify that this thing is needed, because your true friend, you can wake up at any point, 2 a.m. in the night, you can pick in the very late morning, you can pick your phone and say, "You know what? I'm down to my last 1,000. What do I do from here?" But society has made, especially, let me use the example of men "Oh no, I'm the man of the house. I mean, why should I come and be telling you that I don't?" Do you understand? And then, unfortunately, not knowing that the truth is sometimes your wife, exactly, man of the house, man of the friendship, exactly. But most times you need to be able to expunge that, not necessarily even take it off completely, but sometimes you need to.
You because can you need play the role as a leader, and still be a friend.
Because the truth is, sometimes your friend wants to see this person. There are things that you could come and meet me and say, "Marvin, see, this is 1, 2, 3 that I'm going through." The fact that you can tell me it will inform me that this person has been very honest and very open, and in turn, I realize that you demand my loyalty and my trustworthiness, and I'll give that to you simply because you're vulnerable with me. So those are the things that you see, that when those things are missing in a relationship, you need to start introducing. You need to be friends. Most people are in a relationship, they can't take a walk together for more than 10 minutes without discussing anything other than that is surrounded around relationship. How you know one of those things are missing is, what do you guys talk about? What do what are those things that makes you guys kick? If they take away maybe the common things, for instance, if they take away things that maybe you guys unite you guys, maybe you're talking about one friend, or maybe you went for one party, if those things are taken away, what is left? when there's nothing, for instance, there's no light in the house, your phones are dead, and it's just both of you.
Yeah.
And everything looks boring. What do you guys switch to?
Is it really?
When there's no friendship, you guys will be frustrated.
Yes.
Because you can't be on your phone, she can't be on her phone, and all that.
And this thing is like a life journey. It's
Yes.
very long.
So if
journey.
if you can't stay with each other for 10, 15 minutes, having pure conversations, not necessarily surrounding, but pure conversations that you can laugh about.
That
you can that you can have fun through and want to come back to that conversation, not the conversation that is built on these are the things we
only
talk
serious
about.
talks.
Yes. And some people will tell you that even in relationships, but the truth is, the sincerity of purpose is what is important.
Yeah.
All these things we talk about, some people do them in relationships, but how sincere are they? I can be giving you gist and not be sincere enough to show my vulnerability in the gist. Because I still want to show that in everything I see I'm still able to take charge. So when you see that those things are missing, that's how you know to start introducing the friendship part into it. That's if you just found that, okay, you guys are in a relationship, but you're not friends. So that's one way you can identify that those things are missing. And then...
So I think that's key, because truly there are couples that they laugh. They don't laugh with themselves. Before you catch some couples, before they laugh.
Very true. But unfortunately, it was never like that.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
But that's a proof that they are not really invested in building friendship. One angle that I was talking to you earlier, one thing that actually sparks friendship again is interest.
Yes.
I think there are lots of couples that are not very interested in themselves. Maybe something else. I think we've had an episode where we talked about so many things makes people to want to be in a relationship. But not because they were necessarily interested in the
other
presence of the person.
Yes.
You understand? So that's one angle to it. So now that we have identified that being vulnerable, ability to have conversations, simple, conversations, as signs that are used to tell whether you guys are friends or not. Yeah. So when you know that, okay, we're not friends, what are the practical ways you can start to now build it? Because that's why some people don't even know. There are people that don't know how to build, because one, by this subject, to establish that friendship can be built.
Of course.
So building requires some intentionality. There are materials that need to be in place. So how can people that are in relationship that they are not friends, how can they build friendship? That's one question. For those people that started their relationship on pretense, how can they now go back to the beginning? The man don't form. With what you do, I've been there before, so I can understand. You pretend the thing is hooking you. How can they go back now and start restructuring,
realigning their
friendship into what they already have? How can that happen?
So for the first question, I think for the very beginning, if you let's even delve back a bit. Friendship. There are times when you have a friend and you guys are just friends. You speak with each other maybe once in 2 days, and in a week you find out that you've spoken to the person about maybe 5-6 times. The following week it happens like that. It happens like that for about 3 weeks. The day you don't talk to that person, you start feeling something. You don't, this person, is it that?
Communication stirs up
yes,
emotions.
The truth is, you guys are still friends. There's nothing in between. You guys are still friends. So, but I'm saying that to bring to light the fact that sometimes, or most often, in friendship, these things are built. Emotion is built. It's not inherited. Unlike when people just jump into relationships. Sometimes they just, okay, this is a relationship and we have to have emotions. Those things are, you do get, but mistakenly, most times they're not aware that they didn't build the friendship. So back to your question, how someone who just finds himself there, who is now in a relationship, practical steps. First things first, when you have a normal friend, how do you relate with the person? How open are you with the person? how those are the things that you
You
should
start
now.
being
Yes, those you
open.
just be very open.
Yeah.
You know, if you started up with the premise where you had to lie about everything,
About a lot of things.
if like we'll go back to what I said, sincerity of purpose. If you're determined to keep that relationship, then you dial back to and start saying the truth about
truth
all
about
those
it
things. If the
and
person
open
leaves
up.
you, then the person leaves you, but it will be that you had said the
Yeah,
truth,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Because when you go back, imagine you said something, you said being interested in the person. The only reason why you would want to dial back and say the truth.
It's because you're interested in the
Exactly.
person, yeah.
And you don't want to lose the person.
Yes.
But if you are not, that might not make any sense, even you doing it. You know, so how do you relate with your friends on a normal day? You see your friend and, oh, okay, can we see today? And you know, when you're seeing your friend, there's no gimmicks. There's no, okay, let me look very. You need to be, when we talk about vulnerability,
impressed.
yes, you need to be vulnerable even in that aspect too with the person. So if this person is either your spouse or your partner or whatever the person is, be open. There are some people that can't dress up in front of their, maybe because they don't feel their body is good enough. You know, all those things. You need to be able to, because your vulnerability shows the other person that this person, you see, your vulnerability to your partner.
I think people really connect when they are vulnerable.
Yes, your vulnerability to your partner, when it is sincere, pulls out loyalty and trust on the other person for you.
Yeah.
You know, so when you find out that we built this relationship on a lot of pretense and fallacies, if you're interested in the person, like you said, you dial back and start being the person's friend, being there for the person. You can call your friend at 2 a.m. and you guys will start talking. But relationship is like it's scripted. Okay, what do we do next? Even relationship that leads to marriage, okay, we get married now, this is this, we go, we have vacations, this and all that. You have children, boom, what next? People then you now start hearing people divorce because there's no bedrock. There's nothing to. You see,
sorry, Marvin, to jump in there. I was having this discussion with someone, very good friend of mine. This is one of the reasons why after people get married and their children have grown and left the house is really dull.
Yes.
In fact, you see parents opting for every opportunity to go and do a and run.
Yes,
go
exactly.
outside the car and not come back because staying in the house, the children has been the covering, has been the marks to act as though everything was all right.
I think when
the children leave, then it becomes a problem.
I think in that phase, there's been a lot of activities that have taken away. You know, sometimes when you have a lot of activities, you really don't see what's missing or what's absent. But when there's less activity, you now begin to see that, oh wow, so what were we really striving on? That's why, you see, I said initially, the emotions are built in friendship over time. Sometimes before you know you love somebody, you've already been in love since, but you didn't just see it because it was building up and you didn't know. But in a relationship, it just feels like, okay, this we've inherited. So when you have a lot of activities, just like the example you gave, you necessarily wouldn't see it. But if you're open, if you're sincere enough, you can tell. Even with those activities, you can still tell that there's something missing. The only time you would close a deaf ear to it,
you even know.
Yes, the only time you would turn a deaf ear to it is when you're not interested in the person.
Yes.
Because if you are, you find out that, okay, this thing is missing.
And when people delay in building friendship over a while in a relationship, they lose interest in the person.
Of course.
Because I think friendship also oils and fuels interest.
Yes.
The more you're intentional about relating, the more you become interested in the person. So, but once that gap is for too long, you'll be dreading the person, and then the person will be going outside for escape, to look for friends outside, and all that. I think we can say clearly that maybe Adam and Eve didn't build solid friendship. Now make Eve go to talk to snake. because it's possible actually that's one of the reasons why their friendship was solid. So Eve was looking for an escape and no other.
Well, with Adam and Eve, I think we'll leave that to God because
So cut time. So we've been able to establish something that some friendship can be organic, right? It can just be that you meet a person and something brought you together, maybe like school, we're in the same class, and then all of a sudden you guys blend as friends and then you are growing as friends without even having a plan. Now let's be friends. Another aspect is now you can meet somebody that you want to get married to, This one, maybe your time don't they run out of you don't have time
Exactly.
to say. Because there's some
Exactly.
realistic things that we hear lots of people teaching us. They say, marry your friend. So that means be friends first. But realistically, it's
Sometimes
not
it's-
always like that
yeah.
because some people who are pressured with time in terms of marriage, they see one girl wey be say just correct. They want to make their intentions clear first. We go think about, we go build friendship later, you know. So there are two angles. One, it can be organic. The other one, you will have to realize that this friendship is needed, and then you build it.
Yeah.
So now that takes me to this question. In a relationship, for example, in your marital relationship, some of the things that spoils, how do we handle, okay, this is it. How do we handle over familiarity? Because sometimes you've heard the saying over familiarity breeds the contempt, right? You start, how do we
See finish.
Yes, see finish. How do we handle over familiarity in keeping in building the friendship with our spouse? Because it's easier to be your friend, for example, because we know they're the same house. But when you don't come close, right, it's a whole lot of difference in entirely. How have you handled it, or how do we actually deal with it?
So I think that when you say over familiarity, that's like, okay, now
You don't see the person
yeah, you don't see the
before,
person finish.
you don't see the
you know,
person
and all of all
everything.
that. Sometimes, you know, the person will probably, another word is maybe taking advantage.
Yeah.
Because we are here together, and then some men, some men will say, oh, because we are, and then have you forgotten that I'm the man of the house? Simply because you guys are acting as friends and all of all that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the truth about it is, if you are going to be vulnerable, there's no script to it. So in turn, what that means is, even when it looks like it is over familiarity, yeah, because you have a goal, sincerity of purpose, because you have a goal, this is what I intend to achieve. Because I'm not going to tell you that that's never going to happen. I'm not going to tell you. But the truth is, sometimes, yes, I could, even me, I've been in situations where my wife now, she no go. But at the end of the day, maybe she does, because she's human, maybe she does feel like, but I should have maybe told her first. But me, I felt, my wife, we don't do this, I don't run her before, you know, just go ahead. And probably I didn't seek her permission.
Yeah.
She now sits down and feels like, this guy, you know, she would always feel that way.
Yeah.
But the truth about it is, when stuff like that happens, at the end of the day, what's the intention? If you feel like somebody is taking advantage of you, for instance, and then it happens to be your spouse in that situation, you sit down
speak
like,
about
yes, you speak about it.
Yeah.
Babe, is this? And then when you speak about it, you find out that most times it might not be what you were even thinking. Because we as humans, we just have this way where we need to somehow protect our space and not let people trample on us. Not because I just shine teeth with you. I'm sure you've heard it. Because I follow you, they laugh now. You know, that is how we are designed. So we need to understand that first, and then even if it now happened that this person was actually, you speak about it. If exactly,
you should listen.
Exactly. And when the person listens, you find out that tomorrow it becomes easier. And then you guys can even joke about it. And then somebody
I
can even come and
wanted to
tell you,
say that, yeah.
okay, that thing I didn't take permission. Okay, now I'm taking your permission. Before you go say, I don't see you finish. You know, and all of that. Simply because you spoke about it, it now becomes easier to deal with. So, and then that person, now speaking about it also helps curb it next time, because that person is now conscious in the next time. It's like, okay, at the last time, and that's one thing with communication. When you talk about some certain things, you know, it now helps. And your partner knows, okay, the last time he wasn't really comfortable with it, or she wasn't really comfortable. So I wouldn't just dive into it. You know, I would first look out and be sure that he or she is comfortable with it, you know. But there's one thing I'm also going to add. Most times when we say communication, it helps in this whole friendship thing, in relationship. But one thing that is very key is the fact that, you see, communication, you most times you need to have uncomfortable conversations in those communications.
That's very key.
Because if you only relax and say, we'll talk about it when it's, most times there are conversations that it will hurt you as you're saying it, or you don't even feel comfortable. You don't even know how you would shape your mouth to say it. But the truth is, when you have those times, most times it is good you have those kind of conversations too. You don't run away from it. Because you might say, okay, let me let this one pass. I don't want to make her feel uncomfortable. But you still keep feeling like she don't see me finish you. You know? So most times you have to talk about it. No matter, it doesn't have to be convenient or comfortable, but talk about it.
That's very important. I think, thank you so much for that. So we need to be able to have conversations that are not necessarily comfortable.
Yeah.
And so that we can deal with all those issues
Of course.
so once you feel like they see you finish, you need to talk about it. And if it's somebody that is really interested, you should respond, properly. We're going to round off with these thoughts. It's a scriptural thought. I think we should just put it out there. Proverbs 17 verse 17. It says, a friend loves at all time. And they said a brother is born for adversity. A friend loves at all times. And I think that is really why we need to embrace friendship. Because guaranteed, what the scripture is making us understand that if he's a friend, he will learn how to just be there and love you. And that means he'll be kind to you, patient with you, believe in you. All that love really entails. A friend loves at all times. That's why if it's a loving relationship you want to enter, you need to prioritize your friendship. Another scripture, it says, they are friends. Proverbs 18, verse 24. It said, they are friends who destroy each other. It said, but a real friend sticks closer than a brother. And I think that's one thing that people crave for. People want people to be there. Like you started with, this is not my,
my real
they
G,
use my real
guy.
G, they use right to die. I don't like using right to die. I say right to live. So, but anyway, people want people to stick with them. People don't want people to be there for a moment and then and all that. So it's been a very interesting conversation.
I'd like to also chip in one last thing. With friends, there's no time. They don't know morning, afternoon, night. They will always be there, ever present. Other people I can't come this night. But your true friend, just the way who God is to us, we can wake up at any time and pray.
And reach out to him.
We will not say God is sleeping by this time.
Yeah.
So I think that...
So that means that's one thing that God wants to build with us, friends.
Yes. Your friend should always be there. There's no timing. He walks around the clock because that's who he is. So if you have a spouse or your partner and you guys enjoy that, then keep it. It's priceless.
I've really enjoyed this conversation. I don't think as we're talking about it, there are other angles that are just tripping into my head. Maybe another episode we'll get to, tackle it. But thank you, Marvin.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. I am very sure that you have gotten something out of this. I want you to drop your comments, still share your thoughts. Let's have the interaction in the comment section. And please subscribe so that you can get to see, our videos and you benefit from lots of it. Like and also share, right? Thank you guys so much. We'll see you in the next great episode.
Thank you.